Fusion 360. Let's take a look at the web tool. So over here underneath solid create, we have the possibility to define a web. So just like we can see within the preview, we can define a new sketch that doesn't need to go all the way to the profile, and we can have that to define various ribs within a part. So I have over here a case study part. As we can see, I have shelled this, but I also added some cutouts over here. Now I will select the top face over here, go to sketch, and I'm going to define a new line. I will position a line like this, so we see that this will be vertical. I will also define a new one that will start, for example, over here. So let me just press undo, and I will create a new line. But I'm going to start like this, so I want this to be at an angle. To define webs, we can also use splines. So for example, over here, I will go with a spline like this. And we can also use different arcs. So I'm going to define a 3-point arc over here onto the other side. Now, if I will define a new line over here, which will be horizontal in this case, we're going to see that we have the following profiles. So keep in mind that over here, the ones in purple are mainly for, let's say, construction. So there are some constraints over there. So I can finish the sketch. If I will go to create and I want to define the new web, we can see over here for the profile, I can select this, for example. And depending on the dimensions, so the thickness in this case, this will be by default set to symmetric. So we see in this case 1 millimeter towards this direction, 1 towards the other. We can also make it only into one side, or we can have that flipped. And if you want to add multiple let's say elements to the selection, I can hold down Control, and I can add, for example, this line as well, or I can add this one, and we're going to see how that will go like that. Over here, since I selected this, we're going to see how those two will be overlapped. So that section with the other one. We can also check or uncheck the extend curve. So usually for web, we want to have those curves extended. And if I will rotate all the way to the bottom, so we see that we had that top section over here. But over here within the cutout, we won't have any material added. So this will be only added from the surface direction where they have been created. This is why I defined this profile over here with that circle. And at the end, if I will click OK, we're going to see how those web profiles will be defined. If you want to edit those, we can always right click over here, edit feature, and we're going to go back over here. And as we can see over here, in order to have access to additional features over here, so within CATIA, there's a special workbench where we can also draft the parts over there. The same with the fillet radius over here. As we can see, this will be mainly intended for plastic design tools. And I should enable that option over here. So I need to access that option. And we're going to see how that extension will be added. So as we can see, education users will get free access for 30 days in this case. Okay, so I also enabled that draft angle and fillet radius, as you can see over here. So now we have the possibility to add a fillet for those. But since we have some overlapping elements over here, that fillet will not be added. If I will go with 0.5, we're going to see how that value will now be added over here at the bottom. And we can also define the draft angle, for example, with a 2 degree. We're going to see our top section will be narrower than the bottom. We can also have that flipped, so this will be in reverse. But again, with that fillet, it will not work over there. But if I will go with a smaller radius over here, so a smaller draft angle, 0.5, we're gonna have that drafted. So we have the design extension added over here to the account. I can close that. I can click OK. And now if I will go over here within a section, I will select that I want to define that section through a plane, so to this one. I also want to flip that. We're gonna see this profile, so this will be a little bit narrower on the top and wider over there on the bottom, so that this is intended for plastic components that are drafted. Okay, so I hope you find this video useful. I will position a similar video on the left side and a subscribe button to the right. So that's it. Thanks for watching.